Hey, thanks for watching us tonight. How much trouble is Hillary Clinton really in? That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Yesterday, the Inspector General of the State Department harshly criticized former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for conducting federal business on her private email system. Stephen Linick went on to say that Mrs. Clinton did not seek permission to circumvent the rules, but most damning of all, the IG reports that Hillary Clinton refused to talk with him about the violations. Each federal agency has an inspector general who's in charge of investigating alleged wrongdoing. Now, this is a major development because the FBI is also investigating Secretary Clinton for possible criminal wrongdoing, and Linick provides motive. His report says Mrs. Clinton refused to use the government email because she herself feared that some of her correspondence might be made public. Reaction to the story came quickly.
Overnight, Clinton's first response to that report, telling Univision her emails won't be an issue.
It's the same story, and it's not an issue that is going to affect either the campaign or my presidency.
She's as crooked as they come. She had a little bad news today, as you know, from some reports came down weren't so good. But not so good. The Inspector General's report, not good.
Now, at the State Department itself, there was this.
I do know there were hack attempts, but none of them were successful.
How do you know that none of them were successful?
I would just have to refer you to the...
How do you know that? Because the report does not say that none of them were successful.
I apologize. Actually, I misspoke.
Sure.
Yeah, but I will say, but I just would refer you to Secretary Clinton's team for questions about the security of her system.
All right, we were talking about hacking there, and Mr. Toner's being ridiculous, referring questions to Clinton's team. Come on, you're insulting us. Hillary Clinton is banking on the FBI not recommending charges. If the agency does, it's over for the secretary. But if no indictment is forthcoming, voters will most likely shrug, especially because her base is so ardently anti-Trump. Summing up, not a good Wednesday for Hillary Clinton. And that's a memo. Now, for the top story tonight, reaction from former federal prosecutor Rudy Giuliani. Now, full disclosure, you're a fierce critic of Hillary Clinton.
Yes, I'm a Republican.
But I want you to examine the situation from the investigative angle. What does this IG's report mean in the overall investigation?
Bill, I've prosecuted Republicans and Democrats, almost equal number when I was U.S. Attorney, Associate Attorney General. Remember what the Inspector General has found is that she violated the CFR, the Code of Federal Regulations. The Code of Federal Regulations is just an explication of federal statutes, in this case 18 U.S.C. Section 1924, which makes it a federal crime to remove, without permission, a confidential document.
That's what they got Betrayus on.
Well, that's exactly what she did. I mean,
but it's the same statute they got Betrayus on.
The report, if true, makes out a clear, overwhelming violation of that statute.
But she really didn't remove anything. She just didn't use a secure service, right?
She did. She removed it to a house.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that she removed the communicative apparatus
to her house
from
without
Washington,
seeking permission.
Without seeking permission. I got it. Okay.
And it says if you remove government,
but she didn't physically remove anything. She just set up a new server,
which had the effect of physically removing
the information flow
from
into
the State Department to a private place for which she did not obtain permission. She also committed perjury. She signed a document stating she returned all documents to the State Department. She didn't return all documents to the State Department. Her destruction of, we're forgetting her destruction of the 55,000 emails.
That she erased.
Well,
she says she erased.
Erasing is called destruction.
Okay.
That's a federal crime. Once she used this phone as a government phone, it stopped being a private phone. Her private rights to this phone ended. The government has the right to see everything on that phone. The minute she used it as a government phone. And she didn't have the right to destroy those 55,000 emails. And what I would argue is those 55,000 emails are really the ones she doesn't want us to see. Maybe communications with Bill over the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah.
Maybe communications over
Do
Benghazi.
you think the FBI has those emails now? Because you can reconstitute them. You know that.
I know you can.
They have the server.
And they might.
have they might
Obstruction
have
of justice.
If you were a federal prosecutor, and all the things that you have said
Right.
are borne out by the investigative agency, what would you charge Hillary Clinton
Well,
with?
I would charge her. I would charge her obviously under 1924, the unauthorized removal of government records. She never sought authorization. The report makes it clear. Number two, I charge her with obstruction of justice for destroying the emails that she destroyed during the pendency of an investigation.
If her lawyers make the argument,
Investigation is what I'm talking about.
if her lawyers make the argument she didn't know she was violating the law by erasing the emails, would that argument have legal weight?
No. First of all, it would be absurd that the Attorney General wouldn't know. I have to believe.
Well, she's not the Attorney General.
I'm sorry, it would be absurd that the
Secretary of State
wouldn't know. When I worked for the Attorney General, I was briefed on these laws. Everyone who has a
But
security
she'll say, you know what
clearance-
she's going to say, that nobody told me this, and then Colin Powell did it.
Well,
That's
you
what
don't need knowledge in order to be guilty of a crime. You need to have done something wrong.
Right, and you believe, but again, you're partisan, and I'm not saying it disparagingly, but I think we want to be fair here, that she's at least violated 2 federal laws.
Oh, I've got-
perjury and obstruction of
We could be
justice.
here all day. About 12 others also.
Okay. What are the odds then, if you have come to this conclusion, that Comey, the director of the FBI, will come to the same conclusion and present it thus?
Jim is a former assistant U.S. attorney of mine. Very good man, very honest man. I have great confidence in him. If he were not to recommend an indictment here, I would be greatly disappointed in his professional...
Would you be shocked, though? It's a political thing, you know?
Well, so I recommended a special prosecutor for my attorney general during an election year, Ed Meese, when I had to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't think he was guilty.
Just remind people we're talking
The
about.
special prosecutor law said if you couldn't clear somebody...
In what, though? What case was it?
It was the Wedtech case.
Okay.
And if you couldn't clear somebody...
Right.
In 90 days... You had to authorize a special prosecutor. I did that during an election year. I sued the Teamsters during an election year.
I know, but that's you. Give me odds that Comey comes back with a recommendation of indictment.
I'm hoping 70-30.
Oh, yeah. Take the hope out of it. Give me odds.
60-40.
60-40
Yeah.
that he does.
Yeah, I can't see how, with that report, you don't recommend an indictment. The report makes out clear violations
Okay,
of
so
the law.
the Inspector General of the State Department has just given Comey the reason to do it.
He's put Comey in a position where if Comey doesn't recommend it,
It's going to be
it's going to be
nasty.
very hard for him to explain how he didn't recommend an indictment.
That's what I thought. Yesterday, that's what I said. This IG report.
It was a much stronger report.
And it was page
than I
1 in the
expected.
New York Times, and a Washington Post, uber liberal on the editorial page, says that Hillary Clinton is a troubling episode or whatever.
Not seeking permission is the key to the violation
Right.
of 1924.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next on a rundown, 11 states now say they'll